Cool. Okay, so today we are going over distance and cost. Am I right, you guys? So today we're going to get familiar with using some very, very basic but common formulas. So we are messing with formulas today. Two basic ones. Who here knows what a formula is? Cool. So a formula is pretty much what I call a guide. So they could give you a formula. They could say, in order to find the size of your shoes, so they say something like, they give S for your total size of your shoe, right? And then they guide you. They say, in order to find the size of your total shoe, all you must do is multiply your width by your height of your feet, right? That right there is a formula to find the size of your foot, right? It's pretty much a guide. It tells you in order to find the total size, you must get the width of your shoes and multiply it by the height. And for those of you who don't know, when letters are next to each other like this, it means multiplication, right? There's a small little multiplication in the middle. That's when you see it together like that. But what we're looking at right now is what formulas are. So let's say you're given a word problem like the width of Mr. Solano's feet is 3 inches. And the height of his foot is, or I should say the length of the foot. Why did I say height? Whatever. So the length / height of his foot was 8 inches, right? What is the total size, the total space that his foot fits, right? Or whatever you want to phrase it as. You got to get those numbers that's given and input it into your formula. That's what a formula is. You got to input the numbers that are given to find your answer. So in order to find the total space and size of someone's foot, of Mr. Solano's foot to be precise, you get the, what was it, 3 inches?
3 and 8.
And then you multiply it by 8. You could do that. You could do that. Same thing. What's 3 times 8?
24.
24, and they'll probably say something weird like 24 cubic inches, whatever. That's just like space. I don't know, right? But this is the basis of a formula. And today, what we're going to be going over is 2 formulas. The distance formula and the cost formula. These things are the most common ones that people use in real life and whatnot. But also, again, this is the beautiful class of mine that's in which everyone is taking the GED, right? So I got to prep you guys. And luckily for you all, you're going to be given some basic distance and cost form word problems. So the first one is the distance. This is what I mean by the distance, a distance question. Let's see if I could pull it up. There it is. So, we have how many miles can you travel if you drive at an average speed of 55 miles per hour? No, per hour for 3 hours. There it goes. So, this is a word problem.
Is it 55 times 3?
So, we have this thing right here. Let me pull this one up also.
Wow.
So, we have this famous one. I want everyone to look at this one right there. The distance formula is pretty simple. All it is in order to find the distance, d, you must multiply something called your rate times your time. So the r is rate and the t stands for time.
Is that a thing, or is it just for that problem?
No, that's the thing. That's the straight up formula to find your distance.
Rate and
Oh,
time.
the distance.
The
I was
distance.
just going to say, because the R stands for ratio and some, or the radius and some.
That's in geometry. Here, it's rate. Rate. And we'll get to that, don't worry. So what is everything? Well, the distance is what we're usually going to be looking for, right? The rate is more along the lines of the speed of whatever it is that you're traveling at, right? And the time is obviously the time. So if they were to say, how many miles, so they're looking for the distance, can you travel if you drive at an average speed of 50 miles per hour, 55 being the rate, for 3 hours? So you actually multiply 55 times 3. 55 times 3. What's 55 times 3? Well, somewhere on the side you guys should be doing this. What's 5 times 3? What's 3 times 5? Plus 1? 165. So just with that formula alone, you times your rate time with time, you officially found your D. Your distance. A distance of 165 miles. 165 miles. So it's that straightforward. If they're asking for the distance of something, if they are asking for the distance, all you must do is somewhere in the word problems, find the rate, aka the speed in which you're traveling at, right? Find the hours that you're going to be traveling for, and then next thing you know, you'd know the distance that you're going to cover. Straightforward? But now you're probably asking yourself, what are these things right there? Well, it's pretty simple. There's going to be tricks that are going to be given to you, right? They are not going to be, well, they will be giving you problems like these right there, but not always. What might happen is, instead of giving you the rate or the time, and they're asking you to look for distance, what they might do is give you the distance, right? And ask you, and probably give you the rate, and ask you, and how much time will they cover that? So that's where these formulas come into play. In order to find your distance, all you got to do is multiply your rate times time, right? But here we have some handy ones. In order to find time, all you must do is get your distance and divide it by whatever your rate is. So let's say they did not give us the 3 hours. Let's just cover that up for a brief second. Let's say they didn't give us the 3 hours. And the question was more along the line of this. How many miles, or no, if you covered the distance of 165 miles at a speed of 50 miles per hour, how many hours did you travel for? Right? So here they gave you the 165. You still have the same rate, but they're asking for the time now. that's when your mind should go to this formula, because that's what you're trying to look for, is the time, right? So you just do exactly what the formula tells you. You get your distance. What was my distance?
55 miles.
No, 165.
Oh,
'Cause-
that's the answer?
No, I rephrased the question. If the question was, how in 165, if you traveled a distance of 165 miles, and your speed was 55 miles per hour,
Okay.
how many hours did you travel for?
So 165 is the whole number of the distance.
165 is the distance.
What is the rate?
The rate is still the same. Your speed, which is 55 miles per hour, right?
So do you divide that?
Exactly. And just like that, you'll find your t, which is, if you guys divide 165 by 55, what you end up getting is 3, which was correct. We know that, right? But I'm showing you this because they're not going to always just ask for the distance. They're going to be asking for the time, and they'll give you a distance and they'll give you a rate. And vice versa. If they might give you the distance, they might give you the time and ask, how fast were you driving your car, right? That means they're looking for the rate, which means you now have to get the distance. You now must get the distance, whatever it is on the word problem, and then divide it by whatever it is your time, the time is that they give you, right? And that'll give you your speed. So here, those are 3 formulas to find distance, rate, or time. Did everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Here's another problem. Well, not for distance. Here's another formula that you guys must learn. Actually, let me do it different now. Let me actually give you the problem. So, at a bakery, a package of frosted cookies is priced at $3 per package. If a teacher treats her class by buying 4 packages, how much would the cookies cost before tax? So, now we're entering the new lesson, the cost formula. So we already did distance, right? Now we're learning the cost formula. So whenever you get problems like these where they ask for how much the price would be or whatever, right? You guys have a formula that you could take advantage of. And there they are. Let's look at this one first, obviously. That's the standard one. In order to find your cost, aka C, in order to find your total cost, all you must do is multiply your N. Does anyone know what that is? The N? Number of units, and your R, so this isn't distance. Nope, this isn't distance, this is a new one. This one is price, oh my God, per unit.
Why is it an R?
You know what? I don't know. I think it's because they want to distinguish it from number of units to price of units. You'd think they put P, right? But they don't. They, for some reason, put R.
I think price and product are 2 different things, so that's
Yeah.
probably why they do that.
Probably.
In a lot of languages, R means like a single person. So I don't know why they would pick unit.
Price per unit. But one thing's for sure, don't think too much about the of those things. We know C is cost, N is number of units, and R is price per unit, right? So, in this word problem right there, what is the cost? Well, that's what we're looking for. Look at how much would the cookies cost before tax. So they want to know the total cost. So let's go look for our number of units and price per unit. Well, at a bakery, a package of frosted cookies is priced at $3 per package, right? If a teacher treats her class by buying 4 packages, how much would the cookies cost before tax? Well, do we know what our number of units is? Number of units, as in, yes, number of units means the number that you're buying, the amount, pretty much. So we have our 4, right? What about our price per unit? $3. So all we got to do is get that 4, and multiply it by our R, which is 3. What's 4 times 3? My total cost, oh my God, is, wow, 12. But now, guess what? There's other 2 formulas here. What do you think those are used for? Same thing. Yes, same thing as the distance formulas. Let's say you're not given one of the N's or one of the R's, the number of units or the price per units, but you are given the cost, the total amount. You use these formulas to find whatever it is you're looking for. If they ask how much was the price per unit, well, then you use this one right there. If they ask how many stuff did you buy when it cost this amount, and each price of each thing cost this amount, whatever, that's when you use this one. It all depends on the word problems, and you guys have to keep your eyes peeled so you could figure out which one of the formulas you're going to use. So all of this here is cost formulas. They're cost formulas, right? But in order to find specifically the cost, you got to do this formula. If you want to find specifically the price per unit, you use that one. If you want to find the number of units, you use that one. So all of this is part of the cost formula, but there's 3 different ones inside of that could help you solve the answer, right? The distance one, again, all of this was distance formula, but there's 3 specific ones in order to find whatever it is the question is asking for. If you want to just look for the distance, it's going to be this one right there. If you just want to look for the timing, you're going to use that one. If you just want to look for your rate, as in your speed, you'll use that one right there. So you guys will have this these formulas here. So now comes one last example for the cost one. You guys decide which one you want to use. Max, now I'm not going to use Max. Mr. Solano bought a set of 4 floor mats for $44. How much was the price per floor mat? So Neil bought a set of 4 floor mats. Oh no, my pen is not working anymore. For a total of $44. 4 floor mats for a total of $44.
11.
How much did each floor mat cost? So, good. Very quick. I care more about what formula are you going to use to solve that question.
Multiplication.
So you're looking at this one right there?
Oh wait, cost and number over the price.
Are you looking at this one?
Yeah.
So that's total cost divided by, does anyone remember what the n represents? The number of units. And that'll give you what? What does R represent? Price per unit. So perfect. That's the one that I'm going to use, right? So you get the total cost, which is 44. And you're going to divide it over the 4. And what do you end up getting?
11.
$11 per floor mat, right? So this is still along the realms of just all we're doing is multiplication, division. We're still just doing those basics. And we're doing word problems, but now we're trying to incorporate specific formulas to find our answers. Because that's all formulas are. They're our guide. There are tools that we could use to find our answer. So make sure you choose the right formula, A, and B, make sure you do your operation correct so that you could get the correct answer. Any questions? Any questions, you guys?
Does it depend on how it's written out, even with the numbers?
Yeah, it really does matter. Like the one I just used here, right? Here they did not. Here they gave us the cost. No, all the numbers are going to be the same. They're going to tell you 4 floor mats. The total amount of the bill came out to $44. You should know that the C, total cost, is whatever the bill is. So you'd be able to distinguish your C, your N, and your R. But it's your job to know what they're asking for. What are they giving you, and which one do you need to use? Which of these formulas do you need to use to answer the specific question? All right. Are we ready for practice tests? Practice questions, I meant.